The defendant is charged with 3 separate offenses. The first count is second-degree felony murder, the second count is armed burglary, and the third count is armed robbery.
As his parents, we feel like our hands are tied because the first thing a parent wants to do is to come to your child's defense. You realize that you got to face the system, but you also got to trust the system to a degree, okay? And we're hoping that that mercy would prevail.
The prosecution presents its case first. It relies on the evidence of 3 people who were in the residence that night.
Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Abdul Rosenjay.
And Mr. Rosenjay, do you have a nickname?
Yes, I go by Mo.
First, the victim of the alleged robbery.
I want to draw your attention to the events of May 18th, 2015, okay? Can you tell the jury how you woke up?
I was asleep in my bed. It was like really early in the morning, and I woke up to 2 masked men with a gun, a pretty large size, like assault rifle or some type of military weapon. And I was being nudged with the weapon, and that was how I woke up. They were telling me to keep quiet, trying to keep me quiet. The house was really quiet. It was early in the morning, and they just kept saying, shh, shh, shh. And then at that point, for a second, he might have looked away or something happened, but he was distracted. And in that millisecond, I instantly just reached and lunged for the front of the gun. We were wrestling back and forth over it, and at that point, I had my hands on the gun like this. We were wrestling over the gun. He yanked it back. At that point, it went like this, and that was when he shot me in the stomach.
Explain to the jury what you heard on the morning of May 18th, 2015.
The next witness is the man who killed Bryant, whom the prosecution say was defending his home.
I was getting ready to go to summer school when I started hearing scuffling in the room.
And what did you do next?
Like I crept around the corner, and when I was creeping around the corner, like that's when I seen 3 dudes scuffling, and I seen one of them in a chokehold.
Mo?
Yeah, he was in a chokehold and he was fighting with a guy with a rifle. And then when I seen his face, that's when I ran in. I rushed in. I just had the gun in my hand, and then I just reacted, just started shooting. I seen Mo's face, so I just shot the 2 that I didn't know.
I heard gunshots, multiple ones. And I kind of panicked. I ran back to my room, and I called 911.
Jacksonville, 911. 911, 911, please, we need police here, please. Somebody tried to come in and rob us. Please, I need ambulance, I need police, I need people in here now. I got police on the way.
After I got off the phone, I seen the one guy on the floor. He was in the doorway of the second bedroom, and he didn't have any mask on anymore.
Was he standing or?
Laying down on his back.
Was he still alive?
He was gasping for air.
I have no further questions. I'll tender the witness for cross-examination.
Trey's defense is that he wasn't there to commit a robbery and so can't be guilty of felony murder. His team start by attacking the evidence of the prosecution's witnesses.
Good morning, Mr. Rosenjay.
How you doing today, man?
You woke up to 2 masked men in your room.
Yes.
And you had no idea who they were.
No idea at all.
Mr. Rosenjay, isn't it true that you saw Bryant Collier and Trey Wright at a barbecue the night before the shooting? Is that correct?
Yes.
And isn't it true that Bryant Collier, you've known him for a couple of years, and he was a friend of yours? He's actually a very good friend. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're wrestling with Trey Wright.
Yes.
And you had been with him hours before at a barbecue.
Yes.
And you didn't recognize him.
No, I did not.
But he was at the barbecue the night before.
But he was at the barbecue the night before.
Okay.
We're trying to show the jury that the state witnesses, they're not credible. If there's doubt about enough little things, then the jury starts thinking, well, wait a minute, how can I trust this person on the big picture?
The defense team also have questions about the gun used to kill Bryant.
So during the altercation, you exit your room, do you have a gun at that point?
No.
All right. So when you go into the other room with the three guys that are fighting, you end up with a gun at that point?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what kind of gun that was?
The gun, I don't know what kind of gun it was that was used. It was just in my hand.
All right, but that gun that was in your hand is the one that shot the individuals laying on the ground.
Yeah.
As a criminal defense attorney, you have cases where you start stumbling upon the pieces that don't make sense. There was a gun. It was used to kill someone. It's never been located. The gun that's used to kill Bryant Collier.
You got shot once by the rifle and once by Bart?
Yes.
And you don't know what happened to the gun that Bart had?
No.
And you don't know where Jabarta got his gun from?
No, I do not know.
The gun that Jabarta had was not your gun?
It was not my gun.
You don't know where it came from and you don't know where it went?
Don't know where it came from.